Go ahead, take a break. Go ahead, take a break. Hi everybody, my name is Macro Bio Boy, and you might have been following along with the evolution of my Alrighty team, and let's go. Stop it.
Don't touch me!
Don't touch. Yo, what's going on, y'all? What it do, what it do, what it do. What it do, what it do, what it do. Thank you y'all hanging out on YouTube. If you wouldn't mind clicking that like button, I would appreciate it a bunch. It would help me out. If you don't, I get it. Don't even worry about it. Don't even worry about it. Don't even worry about it. What up, Grim? Bye. What up, Dale? About it. What it do, what it do. Sniper Infernalist. Oop. Oop, oop. Sniper? No sniping. But. In. Alrighty. Okay. Nice. Let's go. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. I'm loving it. None. None and none. Skeletal priest. Okay. Boop, boop, boop. Where are we? All right. Can't go there from here. Mike. We mess around with Bonestorm at all. I'm trying to fit into a minion-esque hybrid build or hybrid. Thoughts? Have I messed around with Bonestorm? Yes, I've messed around with Bonestorm. I don't like the skill. At least I don't like the skill on base cast speed. I found that the channeling of it just took too long, and I often need to dodge roll. And it really sucks when your cast goes away when you have to avoid damage. That's kind of true of every skill, but like the base windup of it is just kind of so insanely slow. So hold on real quick. Yeah, let me take this. Oh, this is a spirit gem, not that one. Uncut skill gem. Bonestorm. There we go. You move over there. Bonestorm. Because just clicking is obviously like garbage, right? You want to... And then you let it go, and you get the big old... You get the big old, right? But you can put cast speed on it, right? Cast speed. I'm strong. You know the one I'm talking about. And then you can do that. I just haven't personally been too inspired by it. So I have not used it. Just trying to figure out how to use those debuff stacks with minions. Well, it's just the next time that they get hit, they take more physical damage, right? What up, Cider? That's what we're talking about. So there's not so much to necessarily figure out about it as it pertains to, like, you hit them with Bonestorm, then your minions hit them, and they take another instance of physical damage. The only thing I would say is that you want to reduce armor on your targets. So you want to use Strip Away and, what is it, Demolisher? Or Splinter and Demolisher. Splinter and Demolisher, so that the monsters have as little armor as possible, so they take the total damage from it rather than a reduced damage from it. Do you pretend to focus on command skill or normal attack? I don't pretend to do anything, but I assume that just means tend instead. And it's autocorrect. So these minions are only here to use their command. They do not do damage themselves. It's just the command. That's the only reason why we are using them. Okay. Welcome back, everybody. Hello, hello, hello. What I paid 23,000 for? Well, that's cool. I'm gonna pick that up. I paid 23,000 for a shard for a 1/10 of a regal. I think I would. I think I'm at like, yeah, I'm almost at 1 million. I will pick up this. This seems good. Oop, oop, oop. Where do I put you? Nowhere. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, Skedio. Bam, right there. Let's go look at the map. How good is minion build variety? Can you expand your question to better inform me as to what kind of information you're looking for? How good is it? It seems like there is a build path for each type of minion. So I would say good. But the question is a bit too nebulous for me to be able to pinpoint exactly what kind of information you're looking for. Check out this item. Clear cast, maximum life, maximum mana, increased damage. Sure. Yeah, that's an okay item. Cool damage bump for them. Now, does that... So, having multiple sources of this same effect, like having it on your scepter, do they work in concert, or does one override the other? 25% reduced damage is pretty sick. Literally 50% more damage? Well, it depends on whether or not you already have this source, right? Like, if you're supplying 2 of these, are they seen as the same thing? I don't know if this is a dream item. It is a cool item. Although, +2 to minion skills is worth more than the 50% multiplier. Eight is the number that you need. I found that 6. At 6, you are effectively infinite, because there's no real game scenario where you just sit there and use the skill 6 times. And it only has like 1/4 of a second of a cooldown. It's not worth more? It is. Yeah, I did the math. I showed the math. I had a scepter. Where was it? Oh, the scepter is gone. I had a scepter with more than 50% damage multiplier on. And I went through and I tested their tooltip damage. And the +2 to minion skills here was worth more than the... I think it had like 60% damage multi on it. But it's going to depend on all the other stats that you have, obviously. Santa didn't bring you any stash tabs? Sadly, he did not. Yeah, he was really skimpy on it. So in my current situation, no minion skills on this versus the stronger than 50% damage multi on my scepter. The 2 to minion skills was worth more on tooltip, and I found that their tooltip damage is representative of of their damage. Menchi, thank you so much. Why isn't this going off? Menchi, thank you so much for the 5 gift subs. I appreciate you. Valorant, thank you very much for the gift sub. Oh, this is going off. I just can't hear it. Wow, it's like really, really low. I can't hear it though. Menchi, thank you so much. I appreciate you, man. Hope everybody had a Merry Christmas and Happy Hanukkah and any other rituals that I do not personally know. So, that's mighty kind of you.
You subscribe to a bad tier 15
map. But I kind of like only want to run tier 15s nowadays, I think.
Or a real one.
Not only do I want to get used to running them, but like I kind of just like need to be able to do that. Yeah. If it's a tier 15, should I always Regal Orbit? I have Regal Orbs. There we go. So since last time y'all saw me, I was playing a little bit offline. I've picked up Unstable Energies for general waystones to have higher effects. Picked up some additional points over here. So quantity of precursor tablets, maps have chance for essence. Built down to here. I don't know why I built down to these two, if I'm being honest with you. Quantity is good because I think I have like 100 rarity at this point. You know how you can't look in your stats to see your rarity? You instead have to go to a skill to see the rarity on skill. Remember that? Isn't that fun? I have 98. I don't really know where I'm putting these points, but I'm building out to stuff, so who knows? Was I building down to here? Maybe this one. Yeah, I think I was trying to build over to here. And then I also did another boss. We built up to chance to drop a waystone. And I think I'm gonna go over to quantity of items. I don't really know what to build out to over here. This one seems pretty good. Our Maxwell site is the different modifiers for item slots. I saw someone use Maxwell for a YouTube video. Is the different modifiers for item slots. Where on Maxroll is this thing? Can you be significantly more specific? I don't really know anything about the Maxroll PoE2 site or its tools. I just use the build planner. You can buy scepters. Yeah, I'm very aware that I can spend my wealth to gain items. I'm just not interested in doing it, but thank you. What up, Dragon? Thank you for the follow. And thank you again for the gift subs, everybody. I hope that everybody had a great holiday season. Am I solo self-found? I'm basically solo self-found. I'm not like on that setting. I'm just not looking to buy items until I feel like I've completed my first character and gone through the total experience of like getting gear and understanding how long it takes and what my expectation should be, etc. Like I have a couple divine orbs. I think I have like 2 or 3 that just dropped in maps because apparently Magic Find modifies your currency drops, which is very interesting. I guess it kind of makes sense. Items that you don't need are effectively currency in the first place, so it kind of just lets you shorthand it. But it really begs the question, like, how badly do you want this entire game to just be about Magic Find? My understanding is that rarity, and my understanding is that like quantity was removed from Path of Exile 1, and that rarity was a really big like sticking point. I don't necessarily have anything against it, just seems like way too strong. You can't even beat the campaign without buying items? Unless there's like, well, I'm not trying to like shit talk you, but I assume you're on like a bad build if it can't beat the campaign. Not that you have made it bad, but that like the build itself is bad. Like, I was into like tier 10 maps with negative resistances and only self-found gear on an Infernalist build. I found that fairly easy to manage. You know, there's a lot of disparity between like the relative power of builds though. Minions really seem to have it easy. But like, I have +2 to minions here and +2 to minions here, and I only recently added this. I've been doing tier 15s for like a few days. You're playing max roll Infernalist build? I think that's fairly close to what I followed. But playing a build doesn't mean that you have like the proper gear to support a build. It's just that the gear requirements for this, other than survivability, are effectively nothing. It's just like adds power to build. Couldn't kill the boss without it. I mean, that's just like... Again, I'm not trying to shit on you. I'm talking about the build that you were experiencing in the state that it was. I literally had no plus to minion skills, no plus spirit, other than like 30 on my amulet. And we stomped Cruel boss in like one go in a couple seconds. So unless like quite literally you just like didn't have gear on, there might have been some issue with the execution.
It's about time.
But like, you can't dodge mechanics. I mean, yeah, player skill is also going to play into that. That's why ARPGs are pretty great. They serve a very similar purpose to how LARPs function and how LARP systems function, in that they allow people who physically cannot be able to experience the highs of being able to by inputting systems which will grant you power that like accessibility doesn't grant you. Like, I may not be able to parry the attack of a weapon, but I have the skill parry. And in this way, gear allows you to trivialize content. But that's more so a personal experience rather than like an indicator of a build or its relative strength or what it's attempting to accomplish, etc. Heft is still best in slot on Arsonist? It is, yeah. Storm Mage is not worth it? I've not found including a Storm Mage to be worth it for this setup. Just because I don't feel like they spread shocked altogether that well against packs of mobs. On this setup, I could kind of be running one for free because I'm not using Arsonist and I don't need 10 archers, really. So I could probably just like have a Storm Mage, if only to have shocked on a boss. Actually, at this point, it's probably worth my time, because when it was the equation of the Arsonist, each Arsonist that you lost was damage loss. So having uptime of shocked on a boss, while yes, a 20% damage increase, and if you have a certain number of Arsonists, worth more than any one individual
Marvel doesn't
Arsonist.
Use the Hulk to advertise more. He's basically one big banner.
Morgan, thank you very much for the 6 months. He's basically one big banner. That's very good. Happy holidays to everybody. Today's gonna have to be a little bit of a short stream. Sorry I didn't stream yesterday. I just didn't have it in me. Life's kind of sucked, and I'm not sure how comfortable I am discussing the exacts of it. I guess my desire to talk about it like shows through. Life's kind of sucking right now, but it's on the upswing, and that's generally good. Wasn't really going to stream today either, but one, this is my job, so I can't just not go to my job just because I don't have a manager telling me I have to do it. But I am glad that I'm streaming today, because every day you don't makes it easier and easier for you to say I don't have to again later on. You can take sick days. I appreciate that, and I did. Thank you very much. I am not unaccustomed to saying nah, I don't want to, which is kind of what I did yesterday. I just put out a video instead. Boop, 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 boop. But yeah, Heft is still best in slot on Arsonists. Anything that scales from its physical damage is Heft is best in slot. Well, Heft is going to be one of the strongest gems you can add. Hey, thank you, Mike. I appreciate that. Did I have a tier 18? I did, okay. Using Blood Mage Bleed with Lightning, warping in and away and mobs and arcs. So fun playstyle, but I'm still weak. Just don't like these meta builds. Most don't seem fun to play. Yeah, I get it. I'm also a hipster when it comes to stuff sometimes. I mean, like, take what you can from what the meta is showing to be the most efficient and incorporate that into the build, and don't dislike something just because it gets used in the meta version. As long as you're playing it yourself, right? Like, as long as you're doing something that you yourself came up with, I find that I'm generally what's the word I'm thinking of? Generally invested enough where I don't feel like I haven't made it my own. But, like, you know, this is very much a kind of a first world problem where, like, by consuming the content that shows you what the meta is, you are minimizing the amount of options that you yourself have, even if they are the best options, merely because you know that other people consider them to be the best option. And when you really stop to think about the fact that it's like, I'm only not using or doing this thing because I know other people consider it to be good, then you would never be able to do anything in the universe. And limiting yourself in that way doesn't really serve anybody, because at the end of the year, you don't get an award for having not used meta options. Like, nobody comes in, slaps you on the back, or, you know, gives you an ice cream cone, right? At the end of the day, it's just you playing a video game, so just play it in whatever way makes you happiest, and don't really worry about what other people are doing. I mean, you know, there is a perpetual argument which I'm in online, which is people who are blaming the fact that there is a best option for why, one, they cannot enjoy a thing, or two, the developers are pieces of shit that are stupid, which is, like, very ironic. And I'm not saying you are maintaining this. I'm more so just using it as a jumping off pad to kind of chit chat. And before I go on that tangent, is there an order of poison ignite? Basically, you just want to use the poison ability all the time because your Hellhound should be igniting for you. Also, my Hellhound isn't currently active. So if my Hellhound was active, he would actually be... What the fuck was I igniting with before? Damn, dude, I'm good at this game. Your Hellhound should auto-ignite for you. If your Hellhound isn't near where you need him to ignite, you then drop Flame Wall. You also use Flame Wall literally just to spawn the Raging Spirits, so that they can act as your bodyguards when you're in a tight situation. I appreciate that, Mike. Thank you. We're on the same boat, same form. We're just grateful to see you showing up despite the suck. You make people's day suck less. Hey, man. Thank you. That's, you know... Maybe you don't know. So, oddly enough, before I was ever a streamer, I hung out in a lot of streams. And I watched a lot of content. I still watch a lot of content, but... I watched a lot of content then too, and it is, at least for me, it was true. There were a lot of times where being able to tune into somebody who I knew was going to make the type of jokes that I wanted to hear them make, and we're going to be playing a game that I was interested in with, you know, community chat members who I liked to, you know, and to shoot the shit with. That could help me out a lot. And it's still, it's still a little bit wild bananas to me that people could get that type of experience out of the thing that I'm creating. It shouldn't be, because that's ultimately what I'm going for. Oh, wowie. Hey, man, that's a good item. But I am glad that people can receive that here as well, because I do think that that's important. All right, so I'm gonna hit this up, see if I get anywhere with it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Am I really gonna get anywhere with this? High magic find, high life. I would need change and minion levels, and I would lose out on a ton of intelligence. Oh, I would lose out on some intelligence. The Chaos Res is nice. Let's hit it up. Let's do it. That's nothing. Okay.
Yes.
Gone. This is a really good helmet, though. Max armor and evasion, max life, crit chance, fire res, light res. It's a good helmet. Put that away. Regal orb this. I'm loving it. This could hit real hard. That's one of the things I needed it to hit. That's another one of the things I would have liked for it to hit. Hey game. Hey game. Hey game, how's it going? I need you to hit 2 Dominion skills real bad here. Okay, I need you to lock in. Well, to hit minion skills. That's not the worst. If I could just re-roll regen. Holy shit. So close. But it hit the damage roll. Is there an essence you can use that can hit the... Is there an essence you can use that can hit the +2 minion enchant off the rip? Is there an essence that you can use? No, I haven't looked at the essences, I guess. Is there a wiki I can go to see what modifiers they have? Yeah, I'm on PoE2 database. That's where I'm at right now. I'm on the essence. Is there a way to see, like... Saw somebody using Maxroll. Well, I mean, in Maxroll, if you go to the, like, the planner... Do you mean, like, look at an item? Like, craft an item? Because you can, like, craft an item. Rattling Scepter. You can look here. Like, this is available. I just don't know if there's a database. Yeah, you can do that right here. Through the planner. We have a planner for every site. Resources. You have an essences overview? Crafting, maybe? Maybe essences, essence. E. This is, no, what the wiki? Sorcery. No. Oh, right. This is what the essences did. It's different. Yeah, I don't know. How did you pull that up in the planner? How did I pull it up? You go to the doll. UE planner. Right? And I just like picked Infernalist. And then you go here. And put in an item. It might not work on mobile. Maybe. You might have to go to desktop. And there's my little item. Forget about D2s, also go for D2. I think we've made some cool D2 stuff for sure. This is like so close. Oh, we got it back, but we lost. I rolled damage into... I rolled the base spirit. Okay, I rolled damage into spirit and mana. Then I rolled base spirit into damage. Now I just need to hit regen for minion skill levels. Holy shit, I hit it! Oh shit, we did it. Huh. Oh no! No, we rolled... Damn it, no, we rolled crit into minion skills, not regen! I think that's still better than what we got going on. I mean, yeah, I'll lose some spirit, but like... That's kind of fine. This is significantly better. Well... Alright then. Well, we did it. It's not the strongest it could be. It's actually fairly low level. Because this can get up to +5. Get bent. What a roller coaster. What a roller coaster of a craft, huh? Alright. Well, it's much better than what we got going on. I'll lose a little bit of spirit, but... And the mana regen. But them getting 54% damage, like... It is just a multi of damage. And they have increased attack speed, too. It's actually kind of nutty. Because I think that'll make their effects go off faster, if I'm not mistaken. Alright, well. You know what they say? Oh, I can also put 4 gems in it now. Yeah, dude. Hell yeah. That's sick. Alright. Well. Here we go. What other support gem do I want to put in here? Is there like another good support gem I can even put in? Who knows? Let's see. Culling Strike on him? Discombobulate. Huge. Hell yeah. Now, here's the thing, though. I can't have Grim Feast up. Alright. Oh, because it's a minion skill. No, I never really thought about that. This is also a minion skill. Bro, this is nutty. This is like kind of insane. Because like, where's our sniper damage now? Like 3K. Very nice. Okay. Huge gains. Well, easiest game I've ever played. Honestly, I don't understand why people are complaining. Like, the game's easy. You just kind of do it. My mana's going to be a little bit tighter. I just have to kind of keep track of that. A lot of waystones. Out of exalted orbs. No more room for maps. Feels good. Make another maps mule. Yeah, what up, Blackheart? Really like this guy's YouTube content. Hey, thank you for coming in and checking out the stream. I also stream on YouTube if you prefer that platform, which is the words I wanted to say. Are any of my skills not level 18 yet? I'm loving it. No, but this is good to have because I'll tend to craft on like 17s. Man, I have too much stuff in here. It's getting to me. The amount of stuff is getting to me. Getting to me. It hasn't broken me yet, but it is getting to me. Okay. The earth is round. Damn, that's a sweet earth, you might say. How much spirit do you have and what level maps you're able to solo now? We're soloing tier 15s and I have 334 spirit and I have +4 to minion skills. And I typically run like a randomly regold yellow map. How was your holiday? What up, Buddha? My holiday was, all things considered, my holiday was pretty good. Pretty good. Thank you for asking. I'm a bee. Bang. 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 Stand still. Silly goose. Bang. Bang. Oh, little purple balls. How do I know that the monster is going to shoot these little balls at me? How do I know that? What modifier is that? Hope you had a good holiday. Bang. 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 Advanced sacrificial mantle? No, I need shaman mantle. Oh. I'm a bee. I'm a bee. Oh, a Batman. Bang, bang, bang. And that's without flammability and without... that's without flammability and that is without pain offering. I really only do those against bosses. So just kind of like refuse to play this game slow. Or at least slow down when I don't have to. Is the idea of an ARPG is ultimately that you're building out to efficiency. Expert shaman mantle. Bang. Beat. I'm a beat. Y'all remember the song Let's Get It Started? By the Black Eyed Peas. That's flammability. Bang, bang. Oh. Oh, another one. Bang. 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 Where's this bad man? There's a bad man over here, right? Oh, there he is. Yeah, I had killed him. I just didn't know. Oh, this is a ritual map. How cocksure am I that I can do these rituals without dying like a absolute baby? I don't really want to waste a tier 15 map. I think we're gonna come back for this. I really... Oh, a ritual precursor tablet. I'm really afraid of ritual. Because, like, sometimes ritual is absolutely fine, and then sometimes, like, the 2 elites that spawn, or however many spawn, are just like, oh, we both do AoEs you can't see, and you're dead. So, how does that feel? Makes you feel stupid, don't you? I'm like, oh man, I didn't, like, want to feel stupid today. I wasn't, like, particularly interested in that emotion. Oh, why did I stand next to an on-death explosion? Hey, is that a big man? It is. Hey, kill this big man. Bang, bang. Bang. Well, I've killed all the elites. I feel like I've seen none of this map. I guess we'll go do... Oh, ritual. Hello? Okay. Boop. 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 Sorry, is somebody casting Blood Wave on me? Hello? Does this ritual come with Blood Wave on it? What was that? What was that effect? Have you tried Frostmage's build yet? I have not, no. Streamlabs timed out, not sold out for 1 second. Oh, sorry, boss. I don't know what you posted. Hope it wasn't something bad. I'm a beat. I'm a beat. Alright. Crit nodes worth it for minions? Crit nodes... Are crit nodes worth it? It depends on what we describe as worth. Ultimately, building into critical strike chance, which is effectively free in an endgame build, is worth it only because it is a way of further increasing the amount of damage that you do. And often the gear pieces that you would use don't really rely on a different stat in that slot that would be more valuable. When we're talking about crit nodes in like the passive tree, basically what you have to understand is that your minions have like a base 5% chance to crit, as far as I can tell, across the board. And then you can grant them things like Malice. Malice grants them an additional 10% chance to crit against a target that's been hit enough times by an effect which can apply Malice. Its critical weakness is actually the status. And then with maximum perfect additional crit chance on your gear for your minions, as well as all of the nodes in your passive skill tree, you can get up to 49% chance to crit. And I think your total bonus, if you build into it on crit, will add up to like 240% bonus damage. So, or 280% bonus damage. So nearly a like 4.8 times multi, if you successfully crit. So if you take roughly, put that, so 140-ish, meaning 2.4 times multi. It's kind of hard for an amount of stats to add up to more than that, but it depends on what stats you're taking them out of. Now, where would those stats need to come out of? Well, once you have enough stats on your gear, you probably don't need as much mana regen as I recommend in my passive skill tree. Be able to maintain Mind over Matter as a good survivability stat. Also, the addition of unique items will further modify this equation. But the equation becomes, is that worth more than where you would put those other stats normally, or whether or not your gear supports it normally? And that is something that is answered on a build-to-build build to build comparison. All stats in every single game and whether or not they are worth it always comes down to whether or not they are worth it for you on your setup. But I do think that in the end game, it's effectively free. So, like, yes, it's worth it. I have room, so well, maybe I don't want to. Maybe I'll need all of my ritual.
Speak. What can I do for you?
I assume you wanted just like a more straightforward answer, but there isn't ever really a straightforward answer when it comes to are stats worth it? Wow, that's a lot of stats. Perfect, light res, high cold res, high magic find. That's cool. For a non-crit specialized build, you're better off taking passives like increase AoE for shotgunning. For a non-crit minion build, you are better off taking passives like increased area of effect. Are there... So, like, there is a few minion area of effect nodes. Actually, is there? Is there even, like, a minion area of effect node? I thought there was one. This one. Like, you always will take this node, but there's not really a choice to make between crit chance for your minions in your passive and area of effect for your minions in your passive. Because there is only one minion area of effect node that you can't even get, which is this one. So that's not really a decision you're making. Isn't there one more far left? There's this one. Is there another one? I don't know how much more left I can go. Maybe down here? But you wouldn't build down to here? Oh, like these ones? Gotcha. Yes, 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 yes. This right here. How do I feel about this one? I think there's an argument to be made that these ones could be swapped out for a crit chance, but I have not done that analysis, personally. But you have to, so like 20% bonus crit chance on your minions, base 5% chance to crit. Grant you a whopping 1% in additional critical strike chance, so up to 6%, which is actually 1 out of 95, which is stronger than 1%, but not that much more. Bam. Damn, dude. Look at that stun threshold. Damn, dude. Look at that bonus spirit.
Greetings.
You are the evil sponge? Congratulations. Proud of you, Bubba.
On with the work.
I would say that the area of effect, like, is valuable, right? because ultimately everything other than Reavers are all attempting to do damage in an area. And the difference of like hitting a monster and not hitting a monster with an ability is like fairly damaging to your overall efficiency. But I'm not sure how the increased area of effect impacts like the relative chance that you're going to hit something with a thing where you otherwise might have missed. I haven't gone to that level. It just seems like it's good. Alright. It's kind of hard to argue with it. But increased area of effect is not like a one-to-one increase of likelihood of shotgunning. Although it can increase the amount of times that multiple missiles will hit a target, but that is also not like a one-to-one. Is that even valuable to really call out? Not sure if that's even valuable to really call out. I just did not want it to be that I'm implicitly empowering that statement by not speaking to it directly, I guess. $198 spirit. Big. Big. It's huge. GG. I'm at +4 right now. Fuck are you? What is that? What is that? Oh, why did I do this? 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 Go. Go, my amazing crowd control fire boys. I hate Priests of the Sun so much. Boys, come here. Fight with me. Hey, Zeus. I do not want to fight my ritual here. This is a bad place to fight a ritual. What's up with the blood waves?
Death is my power to heal.
What's up with the blood waves? Can't get my alchemy orb. Wheeze? Wheeze, mister? Can I have an alchemy orb? Wheeze, mister? For my family. Wheeze, mister? Oh, I should have deferred this first. I want that alchemy orb. God. Did you corrupt value or gems? I've tried to. The best I got out of them was +10 quality on a sniper. Can't find any chaos build. Is Contagion dead? I've not personally looked into it, so I won't really weigh in on that. They had to buff it because it was underperforming, so it's probably not very popular, but I know that my buddy Sirach has been playing a chaos build. I think I kind of wanted all of this. Wheeze, mister. I want as much as that. Who knows?
What is it? Greetings.
Prismatic ring? Oh, oh! Do I have a chaos one here? I do. Start. Chaos damage. Oh, that was like... It's pretty good. Ira's pretty good. It's a pretty good ring. We're gonna do it.
Hello.
How can chaos be dead when I have that ring? Checkmate, atheist.
Until next time.
I don't have more tier 15s, so I guess we're running 14s. Wheeze, mister. Is it easy to swap between Arsonist and Sniper? Oh yeah, you just swap out the gem. Oh, I do have bosses here, and I do like running bosses on souped up maps, so let's go ahead and do that, actually. Let's run this boy. We'll run this one next. That is so much increased critical strike hit chance. Alright. Alright. Keep this in mind. I'm gonna get crit real bad. So I need to stay. We're gonna take this one a little bit slow. Should have Val orbed it. Should have orbed it. Oh, and I do hate this map type. Don't dare star me, minions. And this is why I hate this map type. Also, if you direct your minions, they don't engage on monsters. Y'all notice this? That until you tell them to attack a monster, if you hit the like move here button, once they get there, they don't automatically re-engage on monsters in any meaningful way. What? Oh, man. Oh, man. What'd you want me to do there, game? Because my fucking minions won't walk across the goddamn thing unless I do. So I have to push them forward. And you're telling me this little purple thing from a single, just base monster just one-taps me. Okay, man. Okay, man. That's cool. That's cool, man. That's a fun interaction for your players to have. What the fuck is this game? Holy shit. Oh, there's still a guy here. And my minions... It's okay. My minions are just not fighting. They just don't engage on the monster that shows up. That's cool, man. It's a good game. This is a good game. Man, this game lucky it's in early access, to be quite honest. This is like inexcusably bad sometimes. How long have they been actively developing Out of Exile 2, by the way?
How useful.
Wait, is this the whole map? What?
Why are you wasting time here? I have had time to increase.
Bridge, bottom right. This. This thing. This. Thank you for trying to help. Yeah, the map is complete.
Good eating.
I appreciate you attempting to help. What was I building to? This effective was for each explosive modifier. Number of chests. Waystones to be higher tier. Quantity. Like, what does 2% quantity mean?
What is it?
What is that? What does that entail? I guess it was a fast map. Fast map. Fast map. Frustrated with PoE a bit? Yeah, I can understand that.
What can I do for you?
I can understand that. You know, it's an early access game. $14,000 pieces of trash drop at a time? That's interesting. How much? Do you just mean tier 16? Because, like, maps don't get higher than that, right? Or do they go higher? I'm just unaware. Just kind of pissed off I used a map on that, I'll be honest with you. Number of chests. Things like breaches. That makes sense. Oh, this is the highest tier map I got, so you're gonna have to enjoy that one, boss. Hopefully you give me a tier 15. No, you're good. I mean, like, everybody is generally new. The game isn't a one-for-one on from PoE 1. But never apologize for not having all of the information. Oh hey, oh hey, oh hey, hey, what the fuck are you doing? Where's that damage from? Game, where's the damage from sometimes, game? And here's the weird thing, like, minions don't always do nothing. But they sure take a very long time to recognize that there are threats on screen. Bang. You fucked up so bad. Oh, can we go over here? Zoop, 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 zoop. Is it you? Are you the bad man who did all the damage to me? I think it was a little snake who did the damage to me. I don't like that.
Death is my power to wield.
Oh, I didn't know I was fighting a boss. Oh, it's Rust Boy! Rust Boy?
Now!
Yeah. No, I did know that there was a boss, and I was hoping that he would drop a tier 15 map. I did know this. I just lied to you all. I lied to you all, and I'm sorry. And I wish I could have been a better person. What up, Dono? How you doing?
Yes.
John from Memphis, what you know about me? G-L-O and that G-L-E. Every time I pop out, you know I A-T-E. I. And that bitch, oh, get like me. Wipe me down. Increased range on a quarterstaff. Increased area effect for attacks per 2 int. Increased attack speed per 5 dex. Oh, this is like a build item, right? This is like the stat stacker whatever build. Hey, no problem, Dino. Hi. And that bitch, oh, get like me. I've heard about this thing. In an Ascension board, why not get rid of and instead trade HP for energy shields? Because max life increases spirit total. And gaining +1 energy shield per maximum life. So let's think about it, right? So actually, you know what? I will not answer that question. I want you to tell me why not. Because I think that you can do the math and figure it out. I think that that might be more valuable for you. If you can't get there, I'll let you know. I'll do the math. But look at it, and don't just look at it as a concept. Look at it numerically. Quite literally do the math of it. How much maximum life do you expect to have? How much energy shield will that turn into? How much bonus maximum energy shield will you have? And which one comes out on top? Versus, how much more spirit do you expect to gain from the from having one more node over here? And let me know which one you think is more important. Because it's not just gaining energy shield, it's also losing effective HP via losing life, which could be used for absorbing damage. But you tell me. I think it would be a great exercise. Why do I have this? I don't want this. Get
Greetings.
Because when I look at it, right, I go, okay, I'm going to reserve an additional 25% of my maximum life. And I'm going to gain 1 maximum energy shield per 8 life. Okay. So what that means is 100 life will grant me what? 12.5 energy shield. Right? Yes, 12.5 energy shield. Which makes the math a little bit easier. Am I going to get up to 3k life? That's probably a reasonable amount of maximum life. Maybe, I don't know. You know, right now I'm basically at 2,000 life. So let's call it 2,000 life. So each 100 is going to get me 12.5, which means each 1,000 is going to get me 125, which means 2,000 is going to get me 250. So I'm going to gain 250 energy shield. 250 energy shield. How much bonus energy shield do I have? All right, the game doesn't tell me what percentages of things I have. It only shows me the final end result. Let's say I have plus 300% energy shield. So that's 750 energy shield. Grim Feast doubles it, so it's 1,500 energy shield. That's a lot of energy shield. That's like a good amount of energy shield. So, is losing another 500 maximum life worth having a higher cap of about 1,500 energy shield? So you're really only gaining like 1,000 maximum, you know, 1,000 effective life from, well, it's not even effective life. You're gaining 1,000 life by doing this conversion. Is that worth it? Sure. That seems good. Why not? Right? And what is 3% maximum life here? 3% maximum life on 2,000 is 3 per 100. So it's 30 per 100, so it's 60. It's 60. It's 2 snipers. It's an arsonist. Oh, no, hold on. Sorry. 3%. Well, hold on. How much maximum life do I have? Hold on. This math gets a little bit harder than I thought. Because you have to convert it down to spirit, but also you have to figure out how much maximum life, because I already have some maximum life. Does each one count as its own multiplier? Each one might count as its own multiplier. I actually don't know. Is there a way for me to test that easily? I guess there is. Hold on. The long and short is more maximum life is also gaining you, and it's also gaining you some spirit. How much of that is worth it? I don't fucking know. I'll be honest with you. But this could be worth it for you. It seems good. It's about 1,000 life effectiveness. That's if you have 300%. That's if you have 300% maximum energy shield, which you might not. How much maximum energy shield? I really wish it would tell me, so that I could make informed fucking decisions about my goddamn character. I have 40% here. I don't know where else I could get it. I have 40% here. Maximum energy shield. Can I put in maximum energy shield? So that's 28. So I'm at like 70, 100. 125, 175. I can actually take this point out. Can I? I can take out one of these points. I forget which one it is. Is it this one? Yeah, I think you could realistically get up to like 300. Yeah, so that math plays out. So it's like gaining 1,000 integer life by the end of it. Just not bad. My thought was more spirit equal more good. And that might hold true. You don't have to worry about the life loss on Pain Offering at all. That's not really part of the equation. You don't lose spirit. Reserving isn't lowering. I did not say that. That is not a thing that I said, Julio, but thank you for trying to clarify that. That is not something that I communicated. Wait. Oh, I'm not done with this. Oh, right. I just killed the boss. So he had a bunch of stuff and I got asked a question and now it's been 15 minutes. Would you ever add more late game guide? Would you ever add more late game guide? I have 2 end game guides and I have 1 early game guide, but I'll continue to create guides as I go and I experience builds, yes. It just takes me a while to play things because I'm like new to the game and I have to look up each thing individually. But yeah, I have every intention of covering more builds. I'm not really going to be like a minion specialist. Although I do think that people make like a fairly decent niche out of being a specialist of a build type. But I want to play everything. You know, it's a brand new game. I don't know how I feel about the other classes. I feel like snipers or arsonists better. I like them different. I think that arsonists are stronger in the end game. I think that arsonists were significantly better progressing to the end game. You know, one of the things that I'm having a little bit of trouble kind of comparing up against and trying to get a sense of is, you know, there were build guides about like crit focused arsonist builds like last week, except the gameplay footage from those build guides are people who are on like 5 link 20 quality, you know, all corrupted gear 20 quality near max level person knows how to giga juice a build. And it's like, oh, these arsonists shred. And I'm like, those arsonists are also like 300 times stronger than the arsonist I could create right now. Bare minimum. So that makes it like really hard to compare against. But in my experience on my solo self-found gear with my access to information, I've found that these snipers are a stronger build around than arsonists would be on my same gear. The damage numbers they have are just have kind of insane scalers. Gotta help fund the brain power. Thank you, I appreciate that. Oh yeah, this game is insanely unoptimized.
Thanks again, Mac.
And again, it's early access. You know, I always feel like the moment that I start critiquing this game, somebody is going to jump in and be like, you can't. No, you have to understand. It will be good. And I'm like, sure, it just isn't right now. It's just very bad at doing these things right now. And I get that's early access, but like, it is an issue that I have with the game right now. It's super unoptimized. Like, even my rig is dropping. And I'm like, hey, man, if my rig can't run a mid-game like level of stuff on the screen, I don't know whose rig is supposed to. Like, tattered rope.
No.
Oh no, thank you so much for the 2 months. I appreciate that. Thank you for the support. I have the power of being able to write all this off as business expenses. I don't know how a normal person is able to afford a rig that can run this competently. Increased high priority stats or additional stats? What is better? Increased high priority stats or additional stats. Which one is better? High priority stats are high priority because having them tend to return the biggest bang for your buck. So I would say in many circumstances, they would be better. But like, if I could choose between having +2 to minion skills or having all of my resistances capped, I would pick having all my resistances capped. So that's not necessarily a blanket statement that I can make for you. Also, Julio, I do want to push back on your statement, which I find a little bit interesting. Quality only makes Arsonist's skill do more damage, which is next to useless. Next to useless is a really interesting way to describe scales the base damage, like scales the damage output of your damage skill. Sniper's quality reduces spirit cost, which grants me additional snipers, which on my build doesn't really accomplish anything, actually. Me having all these snipers is effectively a waste. I'm just too lazy to find a better complementary set of other minions. But I realistically only need like 6 archers right now to be at like max capacity of able to spam the skill. So I'm a bit confused by the statement as a whole. Yeah. Using a few arsonists as detonators makes sense in this setup. Using them as detonators, not really. I haven't really found that having them as detonators. Having them as just like Zerg DPS to be able to clear out trash a bit faster and also have more forward-facing minions to kind of get in the way of monsters is of value. And there's a cool version of this build, which is a hybrid, which runs the amount of snipers that you need to be able to spam the skill, and everything else is in arsonists. You haven't tried a physical sniper build going all in on increasing their physical damage? I have tried that thing. I don't know why we're making a bunch of weird assumptions. I have tried that thing, but we're not talking about that build, right? Or at least the people participating in this conversation weren't talking about that build. While talking about a different build, the parameters of what is important for those builds obviously changes, but I just find it weird to talk about a build that we're not currently discussing. This is what Crip was recommending. That shows I would drop a megaton of... Oh, doesn't this also drop my spirit, though? It's a cool little scepter. How does this modify my character when I put it on?
Feast on flesh.
Get fucked, spirit. I don't think I'm gonna personally use this, but the Chaos Res is obviously huge. You need eggs? You need eggs. And then this would double up on Grim Feast, right? So 6k, that's pretty huge. I guess I don't need all that spirit, but I'm also losing out on other res. I can actually solve the other res decently well. 24 would get me up to 43. As I'm literally sitting here talking about the fact that like I don't need all of this spirit. My armor drops a lot.
On flesh.
And it's like the more armor you have, the better your armor is. Cool armor though. Alright, let's put this in the pile. It's Friday night. Person ate at home. I want to hold on to this because it's a huge evasion armor. That seemed like a good thing. It's a huge. Well, it's a big armor, but it's not like an insane armor. Are you using heat proofing? I don't know what heat proofing is. Can anoint it onto Amulet. I want to run the one that grants the block chance and armor. "25% of armor applies to fire damage." I don't think that would be particularly valuable for me. Okay. Complete the map. Basically need a 6 link. Yeah, that might modify the outcome in my experience of builds for sure. If it requires something I physically couldn't even make happen right now if I wanted to.
What can I do for you?
But I think we're talking about a completely different scale from the build that people are currently watching me play and asking about. I have all these things where it's like, maybe I just need to get rid of all these. Maybe I just need to get rid of all these things. But I want to have them for later. My life is hard. So we have a 15 and a 14. And need to get rid of more of these little maps. I also need them so that, like, I need them to exist so that when I play my next character, I'll have maps to run on that character. You know what I mean? My life is hard. I need to be running tier 13 plus maps. Alright. Yeah, we'll run this one. Why not? I hate towers, but what can you do? Any thoughts on the state of increased rarity stat? Any thoughts on the state of it? I don't have an opinion derived from PoE 1 and the impact on things. I do find it very interesting that increased rarity modifies the outcome of currency that you find. Because, like, so let's, I think rather than talk about that stat, let me discuss my understanding and my expectations when it comes to currency. Currency derives its value. Because here's the thing that I find so weird. Path of Exile identifies this as currency. Was that always true? Question mark. Because I thought originally these were just items that dropped in the game. They performed functions, and they are used as currency by the player base? Or was it, Path of Exile said, Exalted Orbs are the base currency of our game, and they are known as currency, and you should call them currency. Like, what is... Also, what up, Frosty? How are you? What is the history? Is it a chicken before the egg thing? Is it just what they came to understand and call things after the players called them things? Does anybody know the answer?
Remnants of a dead empire.
That's too deep. Okay.
How you?
I'm just a D4 player, I'm saying. Well, hold on, you're not just a D4 player, you're a D4 mega fan. Just because you're playing Path of Exile, don't forget the fact that you're a D4 mega fan. Man, I wish my minions would walk over here and fight for me. And I also like the fact that I actually can't use their activation because they themselves can't see the target. Even though it's very clearly performing the function of being a attack skill that I'm meant to use. Can I just say, hey Frosty, you want a quick clip? Minions in Path of Exile, functionally, AI-wise, functionally, are absolute megaton, complete dog shit. And I hate them. Hot take, I know. But they are so hilarious. Like, look at this.
Too soon.
Come with me, boys. They are hilariously bad. They are so bad that it is mind-numbing to ever remember the fact that people told me that once I played with real minions in PoE 2, I would never go back to Diablo 4. That is how dog shit they are.
Get out of my way.
So, back to the original question, and ignoring the thing I was originally saying. I find it interesting in the first place that these crafting materials are known in the game as currency, as opposed to a crafting material that the players then use as a currency because PoE 1 didn't have a tradable currency that wasn't a crafting material, okay? So that's already a bit confusing. But when we talk about the idea of the currencies, and I promise I'll get back to rarity, but when we talk about the concept of the of rarity, rarity is meant to be a give and get. You know, a little bit of a good thing, a little bit of a bad thing. Because ostensibly, you need to sacrifice to be able to get rarity on your gear. Right? Now, the major issue being that maps, in addition to the tablets you can put on towers, can grant you hundreds of currency. And that because, or hundreds of rarity. And then because the rarity can exist to these numbers, doing activities which are meant to be less rewarding because they are less challenging can become more rewarding. And that's not necessarily a bad thing if the rarity is a high enough, if it's a high enough sacrifice to get the benefit of it. The issue with the currencies working this way is that is a higher level of currency more powerful than a lower level of currency? Right? And here's what I mean by it. Let's go look at the currencies. And this will again play back into rarity. The Exalted Orb will add another stat to a rare item, but it does not make a rare item. Right? Bang for your buck, off the rip, and Orb of Alchemy is nearly infinitely stronger than Exalted Orb, because it does everything an Exalted Orb does, plus some. and allows you to skip a different step that requires you to spend more currency. But then after that, it can't do what an Exalted Orb can do. So an Exalted Orb can continue to add stats. But does that make that stronger than an Orb of Augmentation? Because an Orb of Augmentation doesn't only add one stat to an item, which is effectively what the Exalted Orb does. But it very specifically can work on a magic item, and it can save you currency. Because in finding out the first two stats are on a piece of gear, you can determine whether or not that piece of gear has potential at all. So is Exalted Orb really more valuable than Orb of Augmentation? Is it stronger? No, it's just different, right? And it is more rare, and that's where it gains value. It's in its rarity and what it can do to a final piece of gear, but it doesn't necessarily, like, per click add the same amount of value or more value than any other orb. A Divine Orb is significantly rarer. Because it's more rare, it can be used as a currency, but is its power more is what it gives you more powerful, more valuable? The answer is not always yes, but they have different potentials. They have different potentials. And in PoE 1, these orbs also could be used in crafting, not just putting stats on gear, but then there were ways of crafting on gear that required a number of these orbs, right? I kept waiting to find some terminal that I would have to put 100 of these into to be able to add a stat to it. I don't think that currently exists in the game. It might exist later. But why am I talking about all this? Because rarity affecting whether or not I get an Orb of Transmutation or a Divine Orb kind of undermines the concept of what it's supposed to do. Because in the form of items, Path of Exile rid itself of the concept that magic items could ever be stronger than a rare item. You will always want to use either a rare item or a unique item. And since rarity will modify how often a base item is a magic rare or unique item, it directly modifies the total potential, it directly modifies the strength of the item that you find. Whereas it working on currency modifies your options for participating both in trade and in the system of attempting to deterministically create gear. So it doesn't impact these two systems the same, but it is the same stat. And because it is so readily available, this is a good item, but because it's so readily available, and then it's also available, this is also a good item. On map mods, you can increase the efficiency of your farming in two different directions simultaneously without necessarily increasing the challenge of the content that you're doing. And if the whole idea is that we want to be able to do more challenging content, to be rewarded for having done it, does the availability of rarity undermine that entire vision? Because for rarity to exist, that also means that systems have to be able to interact with rarity, and it has to be viable to be able to build into. Because if it was so hard to use rarity, except for builds which could disproportionately benefit from it, you wouldn't. And then that creates a huge balance issue across the board for the rest of the game, when it's like, this is the best build because it can do slightly easier things than what you're currently doing, but with 700 rarity. You will never outperform it on average in the generation of items, which is theoretically the thing you're attempting to become more efficient in an ARPG. Because you need the items to enable your ability to play the builds that you want to play. So is rarity positively impacting this loop? Or is it predetermining the meta? And is it homogenizing the meta in that everybody is always able to just play the thing that they want to play as long as it is viable? That is always a true statement. But if you care about something other than just playing the thing that you want to play the most, then you have to consider things like comparative efficiency in the end game. And it really feels like it undermines the rest of the vision. Can my minions please fucking attack monsters after I have directed them? If I direct them to a spot, they need to immediately assume their base AI decision making, which is to engage on monsters within the vicinity of their aggro range. Why does that not fucking happen, PoE? I'm not a game dev, but what the fuck is this? like, why is it they do nothing? Ah! Well, boss, you told us to move in this direction. After that, we couldn't quite figure it out.
Too soon.
Now, if you hadn't directed us to move in a direction, we would just be auto-attacking like we normally would. Also, I can't see. The game's been frustrating me a lot in dealing with minions, and it makes me just want to play a different build. But that's what I experienced at the beginning of it as well, and then I got a great, you know, we found it, we figured it out. And now it really feels like their inability to function severely hampers my ability to enjoy them. Like, what are you guys doing out there? There you go. Figured it out, boys. And like, here's the other issue too. It's not even just like they're like not there and they're not protecting me or whatever. You can't use their ability because they're stuck behind a wall, and the way that this game assigns this effect is per the minion. So if you look, it goes minion to minion to minion to minion. So if your minion that is currently on the chopping block to be used for your command is the one stuck behind a door, it will not function. You will not do the effect. And when you cannot rely on your skills to work when you click them to be able to do the damage necessary to be able to survive this scenario, you don't have a functional build. And I would say about 50% of the time the build is not functional. The moment that you're playing in any scenario like this where you have a hallway. A hallway should not shut off my skills working. Can they modify the effectiveness of it, or can you have interplay when it deals with like projectile bouncing, etc.? Sure. You know, that's engaging with a dynamic system. Hallways shouldn't shut off the functionality of your build. Is that like is this a hot take? Am I extolling some virtue that, you know, I am the lone holder of?
I need more time.
You think it's so you can't cheese things from range? I refuse to accept the fact that this is a design decision so that the build will not be able to shoot its skill from the maximum range that it can, or that it should.
Too soon.
this is an unforeseen consequence of how line of sight works in the game that disproportionately negatively impacts this build's ability to be able to competently and consistently utilize its effects. Does the game not want you to be able to shoot over a wall? Sure, no problem. Easy peasy. Everybody get out here. Everybody get out here. I'm not behind the wall. This minion was able to shoot because it was within line of sight. My skills no longer work. This is not a design decision. This is an unforeseen circumstance that negatively impacts the quality of life of the build. But yeah, so the magic find can be used on builds that other builds like can't afford it, right? I'm an attribute stat. Well, hold on though. Question for you all, because this is a perpetual issue that if we use Diablo 2 as the blueprint, which we should, since the creators of PoE were trying to make better Diablo 2, right? They were trying to make better Diablo 2. With a different vision about what it meant for like that game to be important to them, right? You know, per their own history.
Go on. What can I do for you?
Magic Find has always disproportionately impacted build's ability to be good. One of the big stinks in Diablo 2 right now. You know how Diablo 2 can have big stinks because they released a remake at this point. It's a remake, no longer a remaster, which is good. I think it needed to become a remake, even though they sold us on the concept of a remaster and not a remake. But, you know, who cares? I don't. The big stink in Diablo 2 Resurrected is Mosaic Assassin. Mosaic Assassin is so strong that people will make infinite forum posts on Reddit that it needs to be nerfed and that it ruins their ability to have fun. Sounds similar to Spiritborn? Interesting. It's almost like it's endemic to all ARPGs, regardless of who developed it. But here's the thing. Mosaic Assassin isn't the strongest build in the game, because it depends on what you are equating to strong. And as long as the game has a multitude of farming strategies to explore and get different efficiencies out of, Mosaic Assassin can never be considered to be the strongest build, even though it could one-tap monsters at nearly infinitely scaled higher levels of monster HP than other builds. Monsters don't have that much maximum life, and how quickly you can kill them has long been solved by the vast majority of the meta builds in the game. But the reason why it isn't the strongest build in the game, regardless of all the crybabies who like to say that it is because it can't stack Magic Find. It could kill the Ubers faster than anybody else. So if you want the fastest Uber farmer, meaning you want the fastest market hold on torches in a season start, you can't beat Mosaic Assassin. But Mosaic Assassin can't stack 1,000 Magic Find, Barbarian can. It also can't stack Gold Find, Barbarian can. And while it does clear the pack immediately around you and the area immediately around you, it actually doesn't clear the screen at the same rate as another build does, depending on the farming area. The largest screen clearing build in the game, bar none, is Lightning Fury Amazon. The easiest to gear build in the game, bar none, is Hammerdam. The easiest to Magic Find on without gear, bar none, is Blizzard Sork. You know, you can argue for a couple different things there for very specifically Mephisto farming, but they're all different Sork variants. The most efficient elite sniper is the Barbarian, not the Mosaic Assassin. why the Barbarian doubles the number of drops that you get through find item. But Mosaic Assassin isn't the strongest build in the game, very specifically because it is limited in how much Magic Find it can have, because its weapons do not have Magic Find on it. And it cannot allow its Mercenary to kill monsters, which is where the Barbarian is able to get an even larger amount of Magic Find. The reason why I bring that up is because builds have value determined by how efficient they can be in different scenarios. If Path of Exile is completely consumed by whatever build can stack the most Magic Find because there is no way to combat it in efficiency, that is inherently the problem. The amount of Magic Find might be exacerbating the symptoms, but the problem it would be that the game does not allow for differences in efficiencies to significantly impact the outcome of the build's relative hold on the market. Now, by alleviating some of the pressure, some of the exacerbation that rarity will have on it, you can modify like the relative impact of these things, and they probably should. But correct me if I'm wrong. Even though builds can put a lot of Magic Find on them, isn't the vast majority of Magic Find coming from map mods? So in the end game, people who already have capital can choose to run maps that are just so much more insanely valuable than any map that you could run that there's no way of modifying it. I have 100 Magic Find on gear. But like, how much Magic Find can you get on a map? Right? It's like a pretty insane amount. So is that the end vision where like it's inevitably balanced out? Because it gets really, really hard when you start talking about the mid-game availability of power. And I think that becomes like nearly impossible to balance other than to change the scaling of skills. So even though like the availability of like these types of stats earlier on a build, and maybe it doesn't need other stats, etc. But a build's strength is taking into account all of these things. Like I'm not saying this build exists, but let's say this item is a build. Right? Let's say whatever. There's a skill that applies stun to the entire screen, and then a skill that applies your weapon attack to the entire screen. And since you always crit, you can very easily build into crit, and then you basically like nothing can even get close enough to you to touch you, so you don't have to care about survivability. So you're able to put rarity on the majority of gear. Let's just say that's a thing. Right? Let's say I can run 3 fucking rarity charms down here. I don't even know if you can do that, but like, let's just say you can. Hold on. Back up. Let's say this. Yo, what up, Seebs? Yo, Seebs, I'm gonna be seeing you in a little bit. When Panda gets out of work, we're gonna come over and be friends. That's my friend Seebs. Are we gonna get Chili's? We can go to Chili's. I'm always down to go to Chili's. Chili's is secretly all of our deep dark secret love. But let's say in this example, this weapon is a build, and you are able to apply stun to the entire screen and then auto crit on the entire screen. But it requires you to run like an insane combination of gear, and since it's a two-handed mace, you immediately can't run this setup and blah 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 blah, whatever. You know, you can't get the other stats that would typically be on a thing, etc., etc. It's inherently like a less tanky build, and it can't afford to put as much Magic Find on its setup because it needs to get so many survivability stats from the other gear pieces. Let's just say this is a thing. All of that is part of the determination of the strength of the build. So while it will be the strongest build because it can clear the entire screen, it one-shots bosses, whatever, it will never be able to have the same amount of Magic Find on it that another build could. Versus a build that doesn't need all those requirements and can stack it all, but doesn't clear the entire screen. That's the crux of the difference in farming strategies in Diablo 2, and has always been well received over there. Lightning Fury Amazon doesn't have as much Magic Find on its setup because all of its gear pieces need to go into making it efficient, and the majority of those gear pieces don't have Magic Find on them. So what you farm is things that don't require Magic Find. Bases, runes. Here, you don't really make that determination because the Magic Find on your gear is also modifying how quickly runes are dropping, meaning valuable currency. So you don't need to be able to one-shot the hardest monsters in the game. You just need to be able to one-shot monsters that have the chance to drop the highest currencies, and then you win the market regardless. Where does that leave me? And is Frosty even here listening to me ramble anymore? Great questions. Is anybody listening to me ramble? Great questions. Kind of doesn't matter. I'm just enjoying the conversation. It really depends on what their vision of it is, what you're meant to be able to accomplish for it, and also, like, whether or not they have learned from the pain points of their predecessors. The Nashville hot mozzarella sticks they have, they actually are really good. Because we already did all of this in Diablo 2. I'm not trying to minimize the accomplishments of GGG with PoE. I'm really not. Get that out of your head. But we already answered all these questions in in Diablo 2. We already did. There wasn't a perfect answer to it. But the way that that game, and this isn't even to say they did this intentionally. Like, a lot of this is just kind of like, you know, lucky for them. But they already came up with the answer, which is that there are builds that will be the archetypical best at these different strategies. There are different strategies that allow different types of players to be able to participate and get lucky. And it doesn't all require the best gear or the best RNG. All it requires is repetition and a willingness to do it. And then on top of that, for builds that like aren't actually the best at any of these strategies, they're just interesting to play and enticing enough where you feel good about playing them. A shabby hood. Like, people love the Tesla-den.
How useful.
What is the Tesla-den? It is Holy Shock or a Zeal Paladin. It's a pretty good elite sniper. It's also like decent at doing overs. As long as you can get past Mephisto. it's really not a good build. Not really. But it does serve a function. And it's good at that function. But it's just cool. So part of this equation is, as long as you make the builds cool enough to play, even if they're not the best at doing an individual thing, but they're pretty good, there's kind of not a problem, only because your players do not feel like they are forced to do something they don't want to do. This also comes along with, though, the initial path to basic power is significantly shorter in Diablo 2. I don't know if y'all know this, but they expect you to play the campaign for 50 to 60 hours before you get into the end game. And you can't drop your best in slot gear other than maybe a build around unique, which you won't be able to like really empower until later anyways. Throughout the campaign, you just won't. What I thought was what I found very discordant, where I experienced a dissonance, was in how they were describing this concept of you could find a best in slot item while leveling up. And that was really important, and you needed to be able to do that.
What can I do for you?
That's only true if it's a unique item. You will not craft a perfect pair of boots at level 20. Because quite literally, the stats can't get to the highest stats. So I don't know what the fuck they're trying to talk about, to be quite honest. Like, I really... That one threw me for a huge loop. I was very confused by this statement. Now that I've played the game, you sure as fuck can't find a best in slot piece of gear at level 12 and then use it forever. Unless it's a unique item. Now, that is simultaneously true in Diablo 2. Like, unless it's a set item or a unique item that gets used in endgame setup, that's also true. But it's not like I find this staff, or whichever one, where is it? And go, oh, I'm just going to use this now. You will immediately find a rare long quarterstaff that is significantly stronger than this for a large portion of your like progression through the campaign. And then you will come back to this once you have the gear to support it. So like saying you'll find a best in slot item for an endgame build at level whatever and then be able to use it later is a weird way of saying you'll eventually have gear in the endgame that is good, which is just a very interesting way of trying to sell that concept. Don't blaspheme. Don't blaspheme my Tesla den. Look, it's a cool build, and you like it because it's a cool build. But it's really not the best at anything, other than being one of the cool builds in the game. Do you know what magnitude of shock would do so many lightning nodes for magnitude of shock? Magnitude of shock. Magnitude of shock. Shock doesn't have a magnitude. Shock has an ailment threshold until it's applied, and then it is a 20% damage bonus. Every lightning area has nodes for magnitude. Let's go down to where lightning is. Where is lightning? Can you give me a node? I don't think shock magnitude is a thing. Left side of top. I'm going to put my cursor right here. You tell me where to move it. Maybe I should actually just look up shock. Power conduction. This is the magnitude. Oh. I was very incorrect. Yeah, so this increases, this will modify it. So this will be a 1.25 multiplier of the 20%. So this would grant you 5%. It would be 25% damage instead of 20. What is the word I was thinking of? Oh, okay. I apologize. I thought magnitude only applied to the... I thought the magnitude was specifically a measurement. Okay. Damage plays into the magnitude of the application of a dot. But magnitude actually just refers to the effectiveness of the effect that's put on it, which also obviously can apply to the damage applied by thing. Okay. Got it, got it, got it. I was taking magnitude to mean the damage value applied when the ailment was applied, like from like poisoning or ignite. That was my misunderstanding. But yeah, having 25% when you would have 0% increased magnitude of shock would grant you a 25% increase effectiveness. So it would go from 20 to 25. Hello, can I click this chest? A tier 5. What does tier 5 mean? There are 5 tiers to affixes? Okay. That makes sense. Yeah, I've seen it. Are there only 5? There's 6? There might be more per item type. They have a different explanation of magnitude on poison? This game's hard. Hard game. It might just be curating the definition of magnitude as it specifically applies to poison, whereas the general definition of it, maybe, who knows, man. Who knows about anything in this game? Oh, an amethyst ring. I have gotten a megaton of waystone, so I'm pretty stoked about that. The lifeblood of playing this video game is whether or not you have enough waystones of the difficulty that you believe you should be playing at. That is the thing that I dislike the most. Like, I'm spending time in prospective power and efficiency to make sure that I don't run out of maps. And it's like, well, if you were translating your money into maps, like just buying them, then you could reclaim that efficiency. And I get that, and that is a true statement. But solo self-found is generally, I believe, generally supposed to be a mark of the efficiency of like the player, their ability to learn and like overcome and understand like how to make the most out of scenarios. And not merely just strictly weaker because you would not be able to maintain... maybe that's a little bit too early to say. Somebody who's playing solo self-found will have to build into efficiency of regaining maps and them quite literally dropping because they can't go out and buy maps. Whereas somebody who can buy stuff doesn't have to do that. But the difference for solo self-found is just in the inability to be able to go buy the gear that you want, instead like the ability to play builds without it, or the efficiency to find it yourself and be able to get it. And the additional hurdle of you quite literally need to find one of these things to even do the map, I think kind of sucks. Like, you can't do it unless you have a map. I can't do an endgame system at all unless I have a map. I think sucks. I know that's just part of this game, but I just will not like that part of the game, I guess. Unless I learn to appreciate it in some different way that I don't currently. Yeah, my bang. Is this a unique? A unique has dropped each map I've run for like the past, like, what, like 3 or 4 maps? Magic find. Let's go, baby. Go, baby beef. Also, I know I sounded like I'm complaining a lot, and I am. I very much enjoy playing this game, and I like playing these things. And these frustration points are more frustrating because I want to just continue enjoy playing and doing the thing in the game. And I feel like I can't really be successful because of things that seem like they're outside of my control. In a game that's ultimately supposed to be about curating your exact power fantasy. And being able to do the stuff. Like, I still haven't found a citadel. Am I mapping the most efficiently? No, of course not, right? But, like, I haven't even seen one. Not all of them. I haven't seen one of them. That seems weird to me. Endless circuit. It is harder to apply shock. It is very hard to apply shock. This gives you the ability to either successfully apply shock or just recycle the shock you already have on it, in case your build is bad at applying shock for better uptime. I have the burning tower. I got the burning tower. I do not have any citadels. That's pretty cool. Wyland's stake. It's a stake with an anvil on it? One-handed mace, 2 to 5 physical damage, 3 to 5 fire damage. Hit breaks armor, applies fire exposure when fully breaking enemy armor. Huh. That's interesting. Holy shit, these are good boots. Okay. $5 to all attributes. 12 to all attributes. 17 to all attributes. That's a cool little item. Chaos res, light res, we love that. Increased rarity. We are becoming incredibly feral immediately. Lightning damage, we care about that less. Evasion, we are so quickly running out of care for us. But for a merc build, maybe less so. And we are crying. And we're crying.
Good eatings.
And we are bathing ourselves in the tears of our own failure. So many maps. Also, I did find out that these portals used to be the amount of times that you'd be able to go back in and keep trying it after you died, and are instead now the number of times you can like go back to sell, or like, I guess it's the amount of times you can go back to like get potions and whatever. But I don't know about you all, but in the end game for me, it's not about like, oh, going back and taking a breather. It's just about going and selling items. And I didn't know that. And the idea that it's like, I don't get to get all the loot from the thing that I accomplished because it might take me too many times to go back is infuriating in a way that I can't quite explain. I don't think you should ever be denied the fruits of your accomplishments in a video game who's seemingly about juicing things to be able to get tons of loot from them. And you might not be able to like take it all home depending on the size and shape of the loot that you get. I find that to be bananas. Like, what are we punishing? Not in a theoretical sense, but in a real sense. Like, what are we punishing? The player enjoying killing the monsters too much? Player getting too much sick loot? Like, how dare that player get that much loot? I guess. What is a rusted? Oh, big man. Whoa, that's not the button I meant to click. Bing, bang, bang.
Another corpse to serve.
The witch is dead. What? What is happening? Who's doing what? What monster is making this happen? Get away. Go away. Oh.
Yes, hello.
Boop, boop. Boop, boop. Y'all. Y'all, I think it's time. I think we have to. I think we need to free up some space in our stash. And there's only one way for us to do that. Get rid of all these dumbass, completely garbage, unnecessary. Actually, I do want to give that one. Stupid gems I've been holding on to. Actually, we keep that one there. If I need gems, I'll just make them. I'm rich with gems. Who needs gems?
Yes.
Get out of here. Nobody needs these. If I need them, I'll just make them. I'm gem rich. I need a support gem. I'll call my dad. He owns a dealership.
I'll be here. Waiting.
Get these out of here. Get them out of here. Put them all in here. Get out of here, you little stupid gems. Stupid. Who cares about you? And there we go. Now we have more room for maps. Oh, we got room. Perfect. Now we can put these away. There we go. We got room for that. Love that. Awesome. Armor scraps. Move these around a little bit. Love that. Get this out of here. There we go. And there we go. Immediately alleviated the problem. Do I have points for... Do I have points? Yeah, I got 1,000. It's like $100. Yeah, I got tons. Alrighty. Bada bing, bada boom, baby.
I will put you down.
Wait, is that bad purple stuff, or is... What's that purple stuff? No. Look at all this purple stuff. Oh, a bad man. Go! Protect! Protect me. Is he dead? Probably. It was a bad lord. Oh no, there he is! That's enough. Back!
None can
Bad,
oppose me.
bad, bad, bad. Oh, Jesus! It's Shelob. It's Ungoliant. Did Ungoliant just teleport? Motherfucking Ungoliant teleporting over here. Exploded 15 seconds later. God damn Ungoliant.
Fate.
Alright, raise hands. Who knows who Ungoliant is? Without Googling it. Don't say who they are. But who knows? You'll get a cookie if you know. Mama Shelob. Also, what up, Drendari? I believe you said, like, hi earlier, and I did not immediately say hi back. Although I did see it, but I think I was, like, mid-rant. But I am doing well. Hope you had a good holiday. Get away from me. No. Ungoliant, which has this form of like a massive arachnid, is this eldritch horror evil thing that resides in Middle Earth. In the Lord of the Rings. And allies itself with Melkor. Melkor, the discordant... What are they? The IR? The AR? What are they? What are they called? Is it the spider Shelob? Yo, what up, playboy? Ungoliant is the being who gave birth to Shelob. But what are they the Ire? What are the secondary gods called? What is Melkor? Melkor is a what? The Valor. So Melkor, so every good Genesis story to have a god, and the god's name is like Anu or whatever. You know generic all-father god who's always like Ao or Anu or Ior, whatever the fuck his name is. He creates this great song, and he creates the Valor to participate in this great song. And the song is generally the concept of like existence, and the harmony of it is, you know, existence moving forward. And Melkor is discordant. And he's greedy, and he wants to be better than the other Valor, and he wants their things. You know, he is overtaken by the original sin being the knowledge of evil and the desire to conduct evil, to be selfish. And Melkor is basically like big Sauron. Sauron is like little Melkor. Melkor is like big Sauron, but on a completely different scale. And Melkor, in attempting to win a war for the purposes of... Is it to like have sovereignty or to just be the only Valor? It's to have the thing that a person can't have. Fucking whatever, right? It doesn't matter. He wants to do evil. He wants to win. So he teams up with Ungoliant. Ungoliant is characterized by having an insatiable hunger. And this insatiable hunger is part of why they're so strong. And he says, hey, Ungoliant, you can consume the light of the two trees. The two trees are the things which like bring light to the entirety of Middle Earth, and they're over in the faraway island where the Valor live, whose name I can't remember, and it doesn't matter. It's where Frodo goes at the end, spoilers. It's where they send Bilbo. It's where a cool elf chick gives up her ability to ever go there. She gives up her immortality to be with Aragorn. She would have gone there too. And he goes, hey, big spider, you can eat the light of the trees. Which, like, wild thing to promise. Because you will become the ruler of a kingdom of ash if the trees don't exist to, like, give their light and whatever. But, like, who cares? He's evil and bad and dumb. He's very short-sighted. You know, Ungoliant is like that. So they wage war against the Valor. And Ungoliant almost succeeds in consuming the light of both trees forever. I'm ranting about Ungoliant. I'm looking for a quick Lion rarity. I hate increased rarity. Increased rarity stole my girl, etc. Looking for a quick little line on increased rarity.
About time.
Increased rarity invalidated my build in ways that only my ex could invalidate my masculinity. Got there and won. That's what I'm here for. That and putting really good messages on birthday cards in the office when everybody's just like kind of handing around a birthday card and everybody's supposed to sign it. And everybody's just like, oh, happy birthday, have a good one. And I'll flip it over to the back and write a page just like, it is the journey, we are told, that is ultimately the most important, not the destination. But truly, it is both in one. It is a duality which is so often simplified as to make it unknown and as such unachievable. We are meant to journey to the destination, for the journey cannot have value without that said destination. So both look forward to the future while recognizing the path that you walk, for both things are of value. And that's what I write on your birthday card. What's that a quote from? Nowhere. I just invented it in my brain. I don't know how to monetize this, but if you guys have ways of me to monetize this, please let me know. I would like to buy a house. So back to Ungoliant. So Ungoliant is like, hey, I'm gonna eat these trees. And Melkor is like, whoa, boss. Like, I said we could both go in on like a $5 medium 2-topping pizza from Domino's. I didn't think you were gonna take the whole order when we showed up. And she's like, nom, 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 nom. And Melkor is like, hey, this actually isn't great. And like, yeah, I want to defeat the other Valor, but like, I don't want to be the king over a kingdom of ash. So Melkor turns on Ungoliant, and I think somebody said the Balrogs drive her off because the spider, because she is like a being of darkness who exists in like a realm of eternal darkness, which is why she hates the light of the trees now that I remember it. She wants the world to be covered in darkness. Fire is really scary to her. So the Balrogs, who are basically just like Gandalf's brothers, if you didn't know that. They drive her off with their big flame whips, and they're like, get out of here. Dad said you don't get to play anymore. And she's like, bitch, I'll get you. And she runs away. And that's Lord of the Rings. If you guys didn't know.
Yes.
She does like weaken the trees though. Or maybe only one tree can live on after that. I forget. I haven't read the Silmarillion and what can only be described as a grip. Lord of the Rings that you saw was about Sauron. Oh, right. I'm sorry. That's the Silmarillion.
Yes.
All of that feeds into Sauron, though. Like, all of that leads into Sauron. Sauron, who's also basically just Gandalf's brother. They are Maiar. Arsonist minions are just too weak endgame? No, they're not weak. This is just stronger for me on my current setup. Your Act 1 Nightmare, absolutely stay with minions. Or absolutely stay with Arsonist. I didn't swap to Arsonist until I was trying to, like, effectively do tier 15 maps. So do not swap out them.
I'll be here, waiting.
Family Feud? You could kind of call it a family feud. It's more like generational trauma. Like, Melkor just... And here's the big problem. Is Melkor meant to serve this purpose in the tapestry of the song that God set up? Like, are they meant to serve this purpose? It's a little bit ambiguous. The only reason why it's less ambiguous is because God allows the Valar to empower the Maiar to go act on the world of Middle-earth to protect it from Sauron. Because they're not initially meant to, but then they are empowered to do so. So at least from the Valar's perspective, this is not meant to be happening. But if it was not meant to be happening, how come God in the first place even made a universe where it could happen? It's like a great question, right? A cool part about Tolkien is that the world is less formed than you may expect it to be, considering how much of it he handcrafted. Because it's meant to have space in it. Which is pretty cool. The only thing is that Ungoliant isn't gone. She left. Is Melkor actually defeated, or did Melkor also fuck off? Like, Ungoliant isn't killed. She just bounces and goes back to some indescribably dark place that technically exists on Middle Earth somewhere. Shelob, a descendant of Ungoliant, is also there and more present. But Ungoliant is not dead. I didn't even think Melkor was dead. Can the Valar, like, truly die? I don't know. But it's like so very, just like very much generational trauma, because it's like quite literally, like Sauron just goes on a lower scale path of Melkor, ultimately in service of Melkor, but like to his own end, to have his own stuff. And it is just on like a lower scale. The interesting part being that the lower scale is just like the destruction of life on Middle Earth, which like is not that important, right? Because like the land where the Valar live like still exists, and ultimately they could just make more. Like they haven't lost the ability of creation. It's believed that Ungoliant eventually devoured herself. I forget, is it in a letter where he describes this? Or is that actually in the Silmarillion? Because that's the other part too. So like after Lord of the Rings came out, Tolkien continued to muse and develop the world, and also answer letters, because people would write in letters with questions and he would answer them, which, since he answers them, becomes canon. You know, it's similar to how like, and this is so fucking weird. Remember how J.K. Rowling tried to make, you know, Harry Potter more marketable by increasing how much representation was in it, when she was just like, oh, by the way, Dumbledore was gay. And he was definitely very gay. He was super gay. And not only was he gay, he was probably gay for, what's his name? Grendelsnatch. Grumpelstiltskin. What's Grumpelstiltskin's name? Grindelwald? Grindelwald. They were definitely gay together. Did this impact the story in any way? Not really. It opened up tension for future stories which would come out under the same IP. And while it can inform your appreciation of the book, it not being explored while you initially consume the book will never have the same organic impact as if it was something which was prevalent to the book. So similarly, the letters that Tolkien writes answered questions. Now, obviously, Tolkien is a significantly more fucking prolific writer than Rowling could ever hope to be. Homegirl just wrote bad Star Wars. Like, bad and more weirdly racist Star Wars for some reason. But, them being answered in letters can help us in our study of the material, and it just so happens that he created like such a prolific work that you can study it, and in the studying of it, generate and derive value, which is like incredible if you really think about that. Like studying paintings to learn how to paint in different ways makes sense, right? Imagine studying Tolkien just to be able to understand Lord of the Rings better. Like, how fucking powerful is that? That's amazing. And also, real quick, because I realized people aren't going to have this context. Just real quick. I'm making fun of Rowling for doing this thing because she is now backpedaled on so much of it and is trying to turn Harry Potter into a very hateful piece of material, especially against the queer community. I'm down with the Dumbledore being gay. It doesn't matter what the sexuality of the characters are, but it is awesome to see representation. She tried to shoehorn in representation which was not relevant to a story retroactively without generating new media. And I'm making fun of her for doing that because she is a hateful, awful person. And she was just attempting to generate more money from my people, and then has turned her back on the entirety of humanity. This is not about mocking media trying to be representative. It is mocking her shallow attempts at milking money out of people who she has ultimately come to demonize and hurt. So before anybody feels really empowered to start saying some stupid ass dumb shit about having people of color or queer people as part of a production of a thing, I'll just let you say, I do not support you. I think you're a shitbag. Really sit down and wonder about why you're angry that people have different skin tones and stuff. I didn't make that abundantly clear, and that was a huge mistake on my part. So don't feel emboldened to start saying some dumbass shit in front of me. I have no patience for it. Disney didn't ruin The Little Mermaid just because there was a black actress. But My Mermaid. Yeah. I just realized I like opened up the door for people to be stupid and think that they would be protected, so I don't want anybody to feel like they have that power here. J.K. Rowling is a piece of shit garbage human being. Her attempts to monetize homosexuality is what I'm mocking. I have to remember the fact that there are a lot of new people here who don't necessarily have like the full history of who I am and how I manage my community. Baby Bloomers, thank you very much for the new sub. Welcome on in. Thank you, thank you. Enjoy your emotes and enjoy your no ads. But My Mermaid. Black people can't play white characters. They're white and it's important. Nah, homie, we just live in a Western society where there was no impetus to ever include others. And it turns out that that character is completely fake and made up, and it doesn't matter. My white mermaid. My mermaid's gotta be white. She can't be pretty, and I can't relate to her because she has a darker skin tone.
Another corpse to serve me.
How dare Disney? How dare. But science, no light behind the water. So here's a couple things, because like, you know, the moment that you start trying to be like, well, the science of it, and I know you're being sarcastic. So hi, being a microbiologist, oddly enough, you do biology, and I was studying biology before I swapped over to microbiology. Typically speaking, an animal that would be deep enough in the water will tend to not prioritize genetically or gain a benefit from the generation of pigmentation. Now, this is not always true. Because the mermaids don't exist on the bottom of the deepest reaches of the ocean where light does not travel down to. Also, there were multitudes of skin tones of mermaids, including a black mermaid, in the movie. Ariel has like a bunch of sisters, and also there were other mermaids. But very specifically, the mermaids and the behaviors that we see exhibited by the mermaids include the exploration of multitudes of parts of the ocean where pigmentation, the ability to be camouflage, would actually be very valuable. And being stark pale white with a bright red flash of hair would almost certainly be hilariously disadvantageous to the Little Mermaid's ability to survive predation. Where very often muted colors and darker tones that would absorb light rather than reflect it would often be an advantage against sight-based predation.
Speak.
Greetings.
What I'm basically saying is get bent, pseudo-intellectual scientists. Damn, it feels good to be a scientist sometimes. Get out of here. I don't want this. You and your facts. I know. I'm a piece of shit. There's some energy shield. Life regen.
What can I do for you?
Being divisive is the opposite of inclusive. It is. There is a misappropriation of identifying differences as being divisive. There's this is something that kind of comes up a lot, and it's like, by identifying each other as having differences, we are merely giving ourselves the opportunity to be divided. It is the moment that you recognize any reality of self, you have chosen to be different than another thing. That is like pseudo-intellectual, absolutely bananas nothing. It is like a thing that is both technically true, but only in the context within which you ignore all other nuance of the universe around you. Me identifying as a queer person does not divide me from another thing. It is just a recognition of a quality of a person or a quality of a thing. This is like saying, by me having hazel eyes, I've divided myself from all other people who don't have hazel eyes. When in reality, I've just added the adjective which identifies my inclusive of people who have eyes. If I were to say I was a Christian, am I dividing myself from all non-Christians? Or am I including myself in a group of people who have a religion, which is ultimately fed back up into the ultimate set of all people? It is a misunderstanding of sets. Really. It's a misunderstanding of set theory is really what it comes down to. And it's often weaponized in arguments for the purposes of saying that, like, we cannot recognize all these things because all you're doing is driving a wedge into society. But we can all recognize that there is a majority, and that majority generally has a thing, and then, you know what I mean? Like, we all know what the majority is, but if you try to identify with anything that's outside of the majority, you're dividing yourself from our majority, is how it gets used. And it's just, like, fundamentally incorrect. And I hate it a lot. And I wish it didn't happen around me. But it is. It's just a misunderstanding of set theory. Like, all humans are in a set. This set, the set of all sets, is a set of all things which can define humans. Ever since money became God, humanity's really been on a slide. That's an interesting statement. I'm not sure that it is complex enough for me to be able to intuit the full meaning of it. Disparity has always existed. And societies have had different understandings of disparity. But the necessity of religion is not true. It is a thing which can do good and can be good and has shown to be good in certain circumstances. But I don't think it's one day people got greedy and as such society's been in the slide, because people have always been greedy. Because as far back as we can find, like, fossil records, as far as my understanding, now I'm not an archaeologist or people who study society. What's the word for people who study society and societies? Anthropologist, yeah. I think we've been able to find records of people being killed, presumably by means of other people. And if that is true, then I think that we should be able to reverse engineer that disparity in the desire of things which you have not created by your own hands has been a perpetuator, like a perpetrator of harm in societies. I think that's like a pretty fair statement. Somebody who knows a lot more than me can dispute that. I just really want to come back to the original statement, that is like this idea that attempting to remove bad actors from the equation when it comes to the ability to impact the existence and the livelihood of others is not like being divisive or not being inclusive or some like grand irony or hypocrisy in inclusivity. You must construct inclusivity, and that requires the removal of those who would seek to disempower your ability to do so, or who would act counter to it. Also, if you like unironically use like DEI as a phrase and also go, this is inherently bad. I think that's like a weird revisionist and lack of hindsight and like lack of understanding of like how do you even get there in the first place. Because it was a myth that by creating equality we would fix the world. If we believe in the concept of like a justice. Now, whether or not you believe in a concept of a justice is like a completely different conversation. Justice is not required for people to be able to live in harmony. Like all rights or all wrongs do not have to be righted. Except we extend that philosophy and we extend that consideration in most scenarios, but it gets weird all of a sudden when in modern America we attempt to like not extend that to like the very real people who are like actively, literally disenfranchised and also disempowered, and the history of that thing. And it's very, very weird. It like basically says like we can all, some people will begrudgingly admit, and we can all admit like there is a problem, but we're not able to like act on that thing or attempt to like make right by it. Because when we mistakenly apply it to some concept where it's not actually part of a problem there, and in fact the outrage is completely manufactured, that means that it is now doing a harm, which is not true. And it's just like very convenient to think that way, because it's one of the best ways to disempower a movement or disempower the effectiveness of a system, is to like wait long enough for like most people to not know exactly what you're talking about, and then all of a sudden it doesn't make sense because we have forgotten the initial impetus of a thing. You know, people will be like, why the fuck were phones ever like this? Like that was so stupid. And that's just like hindsight in a modern lens, which ignores like the issues that were attempting to be solved at a certain point and how those things got there. Like the phone needed to be able to do this because of this. It needed to be able to do this because of this. You know, why did we ever use asbestos? Because we didn't have this information, and in this, you know, served this purpose, etc., etc., etc. It is like very easy to say in hindsight some things are not required, but it's really just like willingly ignoring a total history of a thing. And when we're talking about like making right by people who have been harmed, you really, it is not that we will never move past this thing, but it is very easy to say to people who are like slightly annoyed by a concept like we have to move past a thing when they are not ultimately affected by it at all, but instead have been told that they are affected by something. And basically, if Fox News ever says it out loud, you just have to remember that they just had to pay out billions of dollars because they quite knowingly and willingly lied about a thing for the purposes of stealing an election from the people who legally vote. And like, never forget that. Billions of dollars because they got caught lying about a thing knowingly. Think about all the things they haven't been caught lying about.
Death is my power to wield.
Any news source that has a bias to it should not be trusted in its entirety. What you should come to understand is that there is a thing that is occurring and people will have opinions about it and attempt to spin it in different ways. But all you really learn is that a thing is occurring. You should basically like not take their opinion as the truth of it. Like MSNBC is nearly as bad as Fox. They happen to lean in a similar political direction as I do. But their like hyper bias makes it so that in watching MSNBC, you are not getting anywhere near what the truth of a scenario is. You know, it's not just a propaganda is strong. You know. Why people went to X, and nobody has gone to X for truth. Nor have they gone to podcasts for truth. Or if they have been hilariously misguided. They might have gone to Twitter for a while to attempt to find better sources of still biased but more nuanced. But if you call it X and you think you're getting truth there, that is equally part of the problem. that is equally biased and absolutely trash garbage. Twitter stopped being a place to safely get somewhere approaching adequate information about any scenario a very long time ago. Somewhere around the time that, well, it was before Elon Musk took over, but somewhere around the time Elon Musk took over is when it got real bad. What up, KO? Twitter used to be cool. Oh, for sure it was. Yeah. And it got bought by a madman. And I mean that. Dude's unhinged.
No.
Not only is he unhinged, he's courting positions of power, which is terrifying and should terrify you. Should leave you deeply unsettled. You should question anything coming out of his mouth.
So,
Nirvana, thank you very much for the tier 1. Welcome on in. Appreciate you.
you subscribe to a bad
Enjoy your
content
no
creator.
ads. Enjoy your emotes. This
You're
is
a real one.
Lowkey. It's so bananas wild. Well, the best part about bias is that the moment that you know that there is a bias, you can actually use that as a correction point to be able to reverse engineer more of the truth. Don't hear what it is. Hear what they are saying it is, and then dial it back according to how much bias they typically show. Then they get you a little bit closer to what the truth is, and then you take that as like the nugget of what is the thing that's ultimately happening, and then you go research that nugget. That's like one of the, like, this is we're gonna learn from Donkey, Video Game Donkey. Video Game Donkey said that there is almost no such thing as a bad critic, as long as the critic is consistent, because in knowing their consistency, you can derive what the base kernel is from their criticism of that. I just saw your snipers build and it got me thinking, considering a version that doesn't focus too much on poison gas, do you think fork, chain are good alternatives for scatter shot? Fork, chain. Fork, chain. Fork. Projectiles, fork. Fork, chain. Do I think these... So, I'm sorry, you're trying to do like a physical damage version of snipers? I think Scattershot is already like more than good enough, and then what you do is just like buff the crap out of their damage output. Glad to see it. Hey, thank you, Nirvana. Yeah, so I think Scattershot's already good enough, and then you just buff the crap out of their damage and their attack speed. The reason why I say that is because there often isn't like, well, it's different on Breach. I think it a little bit depends on the content that you're doing. I think they are things that you should explore and see how they modify the outcome. Like things on Breach and Ritual and Delirium. Like there's so many monsters that them shooting in one direction maybe doesn't get you enough coverage. But I think just them like shooting 3 in a big enough arc and fast enough and with enough damage just kind of clears sections. But I haven't looked too far into it to give a really good read on how many propagators you can run on the build versus just scaling. Goal in your opinion is to be able to critically think and be able... So yes, critically think. Understand that there is bias. Literally never listen to Fox News. Because they have provenly, outright, lied about everything. But forced to pay money on a thing that was illegal enough about them lying that it could be brought to court. Just remember. Proven to be liars to you. You can go see it. So absolutely. Take in information, understand biased, reevaluate the truth based off of that. And if Fox News is saying it, they are lying to you for the purposes of modifying and propagandizing you to serve a particular political outcome and basis so that you will disempower and continue to remove and give up the means of production from yourself to those who are undeserving of it. Never forget the thing which is supposed to be most divine and most hallowed to us is our ability to impact the government which rules over us and for us. And they lied to you to modify the outcome of that for their own end goals in the ruling elite. Never forget. Provably had to pay out due to the illegality of it. Feel like we really don't say this enough. But they stole the truth from you intentionally to modify what you would do and to attempt to rob us of our ability to impact the outcome of the election. And they were paid to do that by the ruling elite, which they are. And they pay these little puppets to talk to you who are closer to you so that you feel like you relate to it. They are not your friends. Parker Carlson tried to get you to believe that we are worse than and should strive to be more like and to befriend Russia. He did a whole fucking fake ass look at how good this nation is. We should be more like this. You know why? Russia doesn't have to do the whole song and dance that our ruling class elite has to do, which is pretending like they serve us. Never forget. They did these things in front of you. And you gotta ask the question, why? The fanfic propaganda of our nation is the idea that we are actively in continuous vigilant denial of allowing the ruling class to disenfranchise the people. That is what you were sold on. That's the America that you were taught. That is ostensibly what we are all striving for in our decisions. Don't let these people brainwash you.
What is it?
Yes.
Oh, hey. I got another ghost right. Cool. 55 spirit's a lot of spirit. Oh, and if the politician is a celebrity to you, stop suckling at their feet. They are servants. And if they do not serve, remove them. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. PoE is a pretty good game. Mater Doodle! I am ready to party now that you're home. The question is, do I want to own 2 ghost rights? Hey everybody, real quick. Is ghost right worth anything? Because I don't have space. I'm trying. That's what I'm trying to do. It's the thing I'm trying to throw away. With this stuff? I need that stuff. See, I got another one of this. Like, if I salvage this, am I throwing away money? Does anybody know? I guess I could try to look this up. PoE2 trade site. Just want to save country and to be safe while playing it. Same. Well, actually, I have significantly more wants. Actually, you know what? I just lied to you. I have so many more wants than that. I didn't mean to lie to you. You must sign in. Okay, sign me in. I'm signed in. Search. Ghost. Ghost. Writhe. Search. What up, Ivy? And Exalted. Okay, this is 1 orb. An orb.
Yes.
How are we doing? Give me my book. Give me the book. Dooga-dooba. I like chests. Yeah, man. Why not? Chests are cool. Dooga-dooba. All right, we made some money today. Made some money today. You know, we spent, I don't know, like 20 exalted orbs. Why not? Got some elks, spent some chaos. Crafted this, pretty cool. Finally have increased damage on my scepter. Gave up some stats, but this is better. They have increased attack speed too, which is nice. And what else did we do? Talk about Ungoliant. Freed up some space in the stash. Got a bunch of more maps. Big maps. Look at that map. Waystone drop chance. That's honestly the only number I care about. Like, everything else on here does nothing. Pack size, additional pack, sure. And then shocked, and I'm enfeebled, and they fire more projectiles, and they have modifiers. You're off until New Year's? Big. Gonna blast Hades 2? Very big. What up, Nico? Just need me in the background? Hey, I appreciate that. Well, we did good. We did good. Explored more of the map. Built down to here. This little... Built down to here. Look at how much map I've explored. Look at it. Look at it. Isn't it glorious? Look at how much map I've explored. Isn't it beautiful? Not a single citadel. Not a single fucking one. Nada. Can't do the end game. Is this a citadel? Hold on, is this a citadel? Hey, what's this? Hey, what's this? Hey, what's this? Is this a citadel? This looks like a citadel to me. Let's look up citadels. Citadel PoE 2. Oh, we have a page on... That's a citadel! Look! Look, it's an iron citadel! Holy shit! It's this one! Look! 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 barely visible rooftop of an iron citadel in the exile 2. Big. Big, 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 big. That's that right there. No question. Big, 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 big. Well, we found a citadel. Now I would just have to build down here. It's actually pretty close. Some towers next to it. Wow, I'm glad I sat here to cry a little bit because we found it. I think this looks like it connects right there. Huge. All right, well, with that, I'm gonna end stream. Next stream, we're gonna start off getting over to and running this citadel. Crimson Shores. Fuck Crimson Shores. No. Fuck, whichever one was over here. Hold on. The Mire. I hate this. I hate this map. But all right, we're going to leave it there. Let's go find somebody to raid you all over to. Thank you for hanging out. Thanks for not being completely toxic during a completely unnecessary politics stream. Let's go raid H-Crypt. Wu-Tang Clan is forever. Also remember, Wu-Tang Clan ain't nothing to fuck with. Let's go raid H-Crypt. Buddy of the stream, H-Crypt. Thank you all for being here. I hope that you have a fantastic New Year's if I don't see you again. I hope you had a great holiday if that already passed or if you're done celebrating. Thank you very much for hanging out today. I appreciated it. Obviously a bit low energy. You know, hopefully that'll be changing soon. The thing that's happening is getting better. So hopefully coming back on Monday, we'll be able to kill it. But there we go, everybody. As always, thank you all so much for being here. Auf Wiedersehen, au revoir, arrivederci, sayonara, so long, ciao, kap kun krap, sawadi, gute Nacht. Hasta luego. Happy, happy. Live a good life. Call that person you've been putting off, even though they're a little bit annoying, but you do care about them. Hold people close. And treat yourself well. And for the people who are cool, I love you. And for people who aren't cool, I still love you. Because I think you deserve a second chance. Be good. I'll see you all again. Bye-bye.